On today's episode, I'm going to eat Malaysian food, and I'm going to visit a place called South China here in the Del Rey section of Alexandria, Virginia. South China has a special section of its menu dedicated to Malaysian food. That's the section I'm going to look at. So let's go. All right, to begin, I'm going to start with this appetizer. I was going to get chicken satay or a chicken curry puff. Those were the other appetizers on the menu. But instead, I got this chicken roll. I've never had this before, so this sounded the most interesting. And in fact, the young lady at the counter who took my order kind of talked me into this. It didn't take a lot of convincing to get me to order this because it's different. It has bean curd skin or tofu skin as the exterior wrapper. So this is fried up and it becomes very crispy on the outside. And it looks like there's chicken inside the roll as advertised. Let me dip it in this sauce. It looks like a Thai sweet chili sauce. So yeah, it's very crispy. That fried bean curd skin or tofu skin is extremely crispy on the outside, and you have that soft chicken. I was thinking it's minced chicken, but it's not. It's just chicken meat. And with the sweet chili sauce, it's a great combination, really. Char kway is a dish that I've had a few times, but it's been few and far between. I mean, like literally years and years between orders of char kway because it's not the easiest thing to get around the DMV. But having said that, I've had beef chow fun, the Cantonese dish, the Cantonese stir-fried rice noodle dish, many times. Copious times because that's much more easy to get. Char kway I'm looking forward to this. I like these wide rice noodles, these stir-fried rice noodle dishes. So char kway is a popular dish in Malaysia. It's well-regarded, well-known, a popular street food. It has, this version has wide rice noodles, obviously, and it's cut very thin and kind of long strips. You can order this dish with chicken or shrimp, and the young lady at the counter strongly recommended shrimp. And I can see why, because the shrimp, nice and bouncy. Goes really well with the noodles. There's also little bits of broken up eggs in here with bean sprouts and scallions. Now, in terms of the flavor, it's reminding me a lot of beef chow fun, the Cantonese style stir-fried wide rice noodle dish. It has a nice kind of soy color to it. I'm sure they put some dark soy sauce in here, some light soy sauce. There's a nice kind of chili undertone to this char kway and I know in Malaysia they often would stir fry this in pork fat or pork lard, and you would have some cockles, some blood cockles in here. We don't get that authentic, I'm sorry to say, with our versions here in the States. At least the versions that I've had around the DMV. Also, I know in Malaysia, this dish is often stir-fried in a wok over high heat, like maybe over charcoal, for example. And it's renowned for its wok hay, meaning the breath of the wok, for its charred, smoky flavor. In other words, you know you have a good char kway teow if it has wok hay in it. Now, as I'm eating this, I don't notice the wok hay, but that in and of itself is not alarming because it's exceedingly rare to find anything with a charred wok flavor around the DMV. In fact, in all my years eating stir-fried noodle dishes, you know, I've only encountered wok hay very, very few times. I could probably count it on one hand, and I'm not using all the fingers either. I'm curious, in Malaysia, is wok hay common in stir-fried noodle dishes like char kway teow? Do you find that more often than not you do encounter wok hay? If you know, let me know. I'm curious. Let me know in the comment section. Because here in the DMV, and I would say in the United States, wok hay is exceedingly rare. It's hard to find. All right, the next dish that I have is called cam yong beef or cam hong beef. It's a stir-fried dish with beef. You can get other proteins, but I think beef is the most common protein with this preparation. Some sort of curry sauce, a curry powder stir-fried with various vegetables. I see onions, carrots, mushrooms, and snow peas in here. And I asked the young lady who took my order if she could describe the curry or the ingredients that makes this distinctive cam yong sauce, and she really couldn't. I guess it's just something uniquely cam yong. I guess I'll just have to figure it out as I taste it. So I'm going to put some on my rice and then try it out. It smells really good. There's a distinctive kind of like curry chili flavor coming off this. In terms of the flavor, I definitely have not had this before. I mean, I've had a lot of curry dishes in my lifetime, but I don't think I've had anything quite like this. I would say that it's kind of mildly sweet, almost tomatoey in its flavor profile. If there's coconut milk in here, I'm not tasting it. So I'm thinking if there is, it's minimal at best. To me, it tastes like a mild chili flavor, very mild. And again, like almost like a tomatoey flavor, which is not what I expected. As I briefly read about this dish, things were mentioned like dried prawns and shrimp paste, like belacan, the Malaysian shrimp paste, and so I don't know what I was expecting, but I'm not tasting any of those things. All right, the next thing that I'm going to show you, the next thing I'm going to eat is the Penang Assam Laksa, or just the Assam Laksa as it's known. This is a counterpart to the curry laksa, the one that is famous in KL, Kuala Lumpur, and in Singapore, and I think in the southern part of Malaysia, whereas this Assam Laksa is famous in Penang. But this is my first time. Let me dig in. Ooh, ooh, look at this. Mmm. Mmm. Wow. Though I think in Penang, I think there's a thicker, quote unquote, laksa noodle. I think there's a different kind that's more thick. But these are rice noodles, and wow, they soak up the broth. Mmm. And not only that, it soaks up the fish flavor. So those noodles are nice and fish flavored and sour. I think they put, yeah, it's tuna. They put tuna in here as the fish. Let me just taste the broth real quick. Mmm. 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 It's sour, not overly sour. So what I'm really getting from the broth is this sourness, maybe a tad of sweetness, and the fish, the tuna. There's a pronounced tuna flavor. Let me see. I'm not getting much spiciness though. I don't know to what extent the broth is supposed to be spicy. Again, I've never had this before. If you're familiar with this Assam laksa, can you tell me about the broth? I don't know exactly. From my understanding, usually the Assam laksa is prepared with mackerel. Mackerel is served with the noodles and the broth, and the mackerel is integral in the broth in terms of flavoring it. It's used to actually make the broth. That's my understanding. And there's balanchon, shrimp paste used in there maybe, and tamarind, maybe a tamarind paste. So that's my understanding of this dish. In terms of my sleuthing all the ingredients out from this version, this iteration of it, I'm not tasting a whole lot of complexity. It tastes mostly sour, and not overly so. It's just a tad sour. So I'm just tasting the fishiness from the tuna and a tad bit of sourness. I don't know what it's from. I don't think it's tamarind, but I don't know. Well, that wraps up another episode. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have a thought about anything I ate today, please leave a comment in the comment section. And if you enjoy the content of my channel and you want to see future episodes about Malaysian food and other cuisines in the Washington, D.C. area, please consider subscribing. Well, until my next food adventure, I'll catch you then. Bye-bye.